Yeah. Well, the biggest exciting area is the role of bioenergetics in common diseases. Um, I'd like to go back 500 years to the evolution of Western medical thought.
Hmm.
Before 500 years, Western medical thought was by observation. We used leeches because sometimes we gave people leeches and they got better. We don't know why they got better. In fact, they probably didn't get better because of leeches. They just got better. But anyway, there were lots of things that were going on. Then there came a guy named Vesalius, and he was in Padua at University of Padua in Italy. And he began to formulate the structure of the human body into some kind of well-defined atlas. And that was revolutionary because then people could begin to think anatomically about body and the disease. But it had a corollary, and that is if a person had a headache, because of this anatomical perspective from Vesalius, the assumption was if you had a headache, then there was something wrong with your head because the anatomy of the head was different from the heart. So now we have a whole bunch of clinical subspecialties based on anatomy. We have ophthalmologists, neurologists, cardiologists, uh, dermatologists, nephrologists, etc. All of those then work on the assumption that if you have a pain in that organ, you need to go to that organ specialist. But I'm concerned that, in fact, because the common diseases are all affecting the high energy organs, and that different high energy organs have different mitochondrial physiological demands,
Hmm.
that maybe many of these diseases are not about anatomy of that organ, but are systemic diseases that happen to have symptoms in that organ. And I think our major thrust now is to try and show that many of these common diseases, such as diabetes and obesity, macular degeneration, chronic fatigue, headaches, are actually bioenergetic diseases, not anatomical diseases, and that we need to look at these diseases in a different way if we're going to find real cures. And so the major thrust of our center is to take that vision and prove that these diseases have a major bioenergetic component and that we can intervene with them by bioenergetic treatments, either by gene therapy, which we're working on for both the nuclear and the mitochondrial genes, or by metabolic treatments such as nicotinamide riboside, or by exercise, or by certain kinds of other approaches that increase energetics. And I think that this is a huge opportunity to really have a big impact on a large portion of the population if we get our idea right and go from anatomy and structure to energy and vitality. So I have a little formula. Life is the interaction between anatomy and energetics,